Hello everyone, I am VAOS and welcome back to another Kerbal Space Program video, KSP2. Oh boy. So 350 some odd bug fixes they proclaim. Okay, that means I should be able to freely build now, right? Like over 150 parts.
It's a 150 part vessel.
I'm sure I could build more than 150 part craft now, right? I'm sure my rockets and stuff won't melt on the highway, what the fuck? Runway or launch pad anymore, right? But anyway, regardless of all the bugs that are still very much alive, I decided to take on the challenge of building an EVE Online spaceship, the Minmatar Hurricane. If you don't know what EVE Online is, it's a beautiful game. Huge multiplayer online one world game. I played 6 years of it before I started my channel and Kerbal Space Program. Definitely check it out. You can virtually do almost anything. It's pretty cool. But anyway, like I said, it took almost all week to build this craft. The sheer amount of lag, 5 frames per second, was real. What did they fix again? I mean, I wish I had the money to go out and buy a, 37490 whatever the fuck graphics card to be able to play 30 frames, 60 frames per second. That'd be great. But before I can look at getting toys, I have to first make sure that I can afford all the bills, with a roof over my head and food on the table for my family. It's rough. After that's all squared away, then I see how many pennies I got left. And well, you know how that goes. So the Hurricane Minmatar is a battle cruiser in the game of EVE Online. It's not quite a battleship, but it's not really as weak as a cruiser. Right in that sweet spot right there in the middle. It was one of my favorite PvP ships when I was playing EVE Online. It's a tough motherfucker. Now, I haven't played EVE Online for a very long time. I don't know if it's been severely nerfed or buffed since then, but when I was cruising the galaxy in a PvP fitted Minmatar Hurricane, there was a lot of ships that ran back into the station and hid there for quite some time, until I left the solar system, that is. However, in KSP2, we have procedural wings, so I got this grand idea that I'd use those to create the armor of the battlecruiser. Now yes, they're wings, right? They're crunchy as hell. I'm not going for stats here, I'm going for looks. I wanted to build something that looked cool. Everything seemed to be working out just fine until of course the part count started getting kind of high. Once it got past,
It's a 150 part vessel.
150 parts. That's when everything started to boggle down really hard. It started giving me weird notices, it started moving at 5 frames per second, and just grabbing a part from the part list, let alone putting the part on the craft, was agonizingly slow. I tried to build missiles for the battlecruiser, of course, warships gotta have weapons, but I kept on running into bugs the entire time. First I thought maybe I'd use the I-beams, try to create a missile with I-beams, and then the I-beams went all to frickin' hell. So I said, okay, screw it. I won't use I-beams. I'll just put on one of those little nuclear reactors, kind of make it maybe like a depleted uranium round or some shit. And of course, those were trying to mess up on me too. Oh my gosh. Finally, once I got the missiles stowed away, now it was time to strut this thing as efficiently as possible so it wouldn't wobble all the hell. But VAOS, they fixed the wobbling, and if they did, they didn't quite do it all that great. I don't know. I thought that there was some way I could hyper edit this into orbit, but apparently the F12 doesn't bring up anything, and if it did, it doesn't anymore. You can hit escape and go into settings and change things like heat, crash damage, fuel, and electricity infinite and all that good shit, but other than that, there's nothing else. So I really wanted to see this thing in space, so I tried putting the rockets underneath and flying it that way. I figured if I go slow, the aerodynamics wouldn't bug out and flip the whole thing upside down, which it did, unfortunately. And I got the grand idea of putting the rockets on top, or actually hanging from the bottom would be the ship and the rockets would be on top. That way all the drag would center itself on the bottom, keeping the nose up and the rockets pointed forwards. If I went into settings and gave it infinite fuel, then I could just have it fly all the way as far out into space as possible, detach it, and have it in space that way. Lo and behold, every time I tried to launch this sucker, it would melt. And the times that it didn't melt, you had the really stupid sign pop up saying, oh, an engine fell off, therefore your ship has been destroyed. Better luck next time. Oh my gosh. That's so annoying. So I got rid of that and I looked to see what engine fell off, and it was one silly little engine, just kind of bobbling there all by its lonesome. Just one. Anybody, you know, I could do without that engine. I really could. I could make this craft work without that engine. The fact that the game has to pretend that the ship has been absolutely destroyed and obliterated because of one tiny little part popping off is insane. But that's okay, right? It's an early access. I should keep my expectations down to below minimum. But the lag. Oh, the lag. The lag. For those of you who keep on insisting that this game is run entirely on CPU and not GPU, let me give you some stats. There you go. Look at this. GPU is screaming. The CPU is looking around like... Sadly, KSP2, because of the fact that it's so early access, regardless of the 350 some odd bugs that they proclaim to have fixed, is still quite buggy. Lord help you if you build anything over 150 parts, because then you'll go into a time dilation wormhole effect, where everything slows down to the speed of the snot in a snail. Very snotty. In KSP2 early access, you have to build light, build small, and keep your imagination and expectations to a very extremely low level. Now, 150 parts,
150 part vessel.
you can still go to any planet anywhere. You could still possibly build space stations and space bases, not colonies, but I mean, it's doable, sure. But once you start going over that, expect extreme delays. It got to the point where I had to quit trying to get this beautiful spacecraft into space because it is pretty. KSP2 makes some pretty crafts. Very shiny. But at this point, the game was literally unplayable, and there was no getting this thing into space, ever. So I had to throw in the towel because unfortunately, I don't have a whole bunch of free time. If I sit down and work on something for a few hours, a bunch of other stuff that I need to work on or take care of starts to pile up in the real world. It's just the way it is. But regardless, the Minmatar Hurricane replica, I think, came out really nice. I wanted to detail it way more than what it is, but out of the fear of dying of old age, I wasn't going to attempt it. I got as close as I am comfortable with to making the replica and left it at that. Perhaps in the future, when KSP 2 gets a badly needed ironing out and becomes a lot smoother with a lot higher part count craft making ability, then I shall attempt this again and try to make it look really cool. But anyway, sorry for that rant, everybody. I didn't mean for this to be a rant video. I think I just feel like I wasted a whole lot of time trying to build something that shouldn't be so freaking complicated. Something I could whip up in like 30 minutes in KSP1 took absolutely forever in KSP2, which is one of the reasons why I'm gonna stop making videos of KSP2 unless there's like some sort of major update. I think what I'll do is I'll start getting back into things like the career mode streams, as well as working on the colony, the Duna colony. I think when we uploaded a mod in Duna colony, it got all corrupted and whatnot. I'll have to fix that. But anyway, so yeah, there it is, the Minmatar Hurricane, or depending on where you're from, Hurricane, which I don't understand how that's pronounced because it's literally spelled C-A-N-E in the end of hurricane, like walking cane, C-A-N-E. Hurricane, don't know where that comes from, but that's okay. Everybody pronounces shit differently and we love everyone, so that's cool. Anyway, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like, and if you really liked what you saw, consider subscribing. We make videos about Kerbal Space Program and stuff often. We also have a membership program. If you're interested, get cool little emojis and badges and stuff and you become a member. Check it out. But anyway, this has been a Kerbal Space Program video. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here. Love you all, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye-bye.